Wake up. I want you to take a hard look at your life right now. I don't mean the curated version you post on Instagram or the polite, sanitized version you tell your parents over Thanksgiving dinner. I mean the reality you wake up to every single morning at 6:30 a.m. The alarm goes off, and before your feet even hit the floor, you feel that heavy, suffocating weight in your chest. You drag yourself out of bed to sit in 45 minutes of gridlock traffic, surrounded by other men just as tired and defeated as you are, all heading to jobs that demand 60 hours of your life every single week. You tolerate the corporate politics, the HR meetings, the mid-level management idiocy, and the soul-crushing grind. Why? Because you have a mortgage on a 4-bedroom house in the suburbs that you barely spend any time in. You have 2 car notes for SUVs that are depreciating faster than your bank account can refill. You have credit card debt from vacations to Disney and Cabo that you didn't even want to go on. But you went anyway because you wanted to make her happy. You are running on a hamster wheel, chasing a carrot that was promised to you when you were 5 years old. You were told by your mother, by your teachers, by the movies, by society that if you were a good boy, if you got the grades, got the degree, landed the high-paying job, and treated women like princesses, you would be rewarded. You were told that the prize at the end of the rainbow was a loyal, loving wife, a white picket fence, and a happily ever after of effortless intimacy and respect. You were lied to. You are living in a simulation, a construct, a comfortable, soft, suffocating lie. We call this the blue pill. It is the operating system that society installed in your brain before you were old enough to question it. And right now, for millions of men across America, that operating system is crashing. You feel it, don't you? You feel it when you come home exhausted after a 10-hour shift, and instead of being greeted with warmth or gratitude, you are met with indifference. You are met with a list of chores. You are met with a cold shoulder. You feel it when you realize you have become a walking ATM, a utility provider whose only value is the paycheck you deposit every 2 weeks. You feel it when you look in the mirror and realize you have been friend-zoned by your own wife. And deep down, in the darkest pit of your stomach, you have a gnawing fear. You see the divorce rates. You see your buddies, good men, hard-working men, getting dragged through the family court system, losing half their net worth, losing access to their kids, moving into studio apartments while their ex-wives move a new guy into the house they paid for. You sense that the game is rigged, but you can't see the rules. You are playing poker with your life, but you can't see the cards, and the dealer is stacking the deck against you. I am not here to comfort you. I am not here to tell you that you're a victim, and I'm certainly not here to sell you the same old communication hacks or love languages garbage that your therapist is pushing. I'm here to unplug you. I'm here to hand you the red pill. It is bitter. It is jagged. It is going to hurt going down. But it is the only thing that will save you from a life of quiet desperation and eventual ruin. We are going to talk about the brutal truth that mainstream media won't tell you. We are going to dismantle the myths of romance and replace them with the cold, hard facts of evolutionary psychology. I'm going to show you the source code of the female imperative. And I'm warning you right now, if you are easily offended, or if you prefer the comfortable lie, turn this off. But if you want to understand why she is never satisfied with the average man, keep listening. Let's start by destroying the single most destructive mantra ever taught to Western men. Happy wife. Happy life. This phrase is a suicide note for your masculinity. It conditions you to believe that your primary purpose in a relationship is servitude. It programs you to believe that if you just sacrifice enough, if you just acquiesce enough, if you just suppress your own needs and desires enough to appease her, she will be happy. And if she is happy, surely she will love you, desire you, and stay loyal to you. Stop. You need to understand something fundamental about human nature, and specifically about female attraction triggers. Attraction is not negotiable. Desire cannot be bartered. You cannot buy genuine burning desire with compliance. In fact, the opposite is true. Every time you sacrifice your own boundaries, your own mission, and your own self-respect to appease a woman, you are not buying her love. You are paying for her contempt. Women do not love like men do. This is the hardest pill for most men to swallow because you are projecting your own idealism onto her. Men love idealistically. A man can love a woman who is broke, who has no status, who works at a fast food joint, who brings nothing to the table but her presence, her beauty, and her loyalty. We are capable of unconditional provision. We are the true romantics. We will die on the battlefield to protect a woman we just met. Women, biologically, are not wired this way. This is not a moral failing on their part. It is a survival strategy that has been hard-coded into their DNA for 200,000 years. Women love opportunistically. Women love pragmatically. For a woman, love is inextricably tied to respect, and respect is tied to your capability, your dominance, and your ability to survive and thrive. If she does not respect you, she cannot love you, and she cannot respect a man whom she can walk all over. When you adopt the happy wife, happy life mindset, you're handing her the reins of the relationship. You're stepping down from the captain's chair and asking her to steer the ship. And the moment you do that, her anxiety spikes, her attraction plummets, and she begins looking for the nearest exit. This brings us to the core concept that you must understand if you want to survive in the modern dating market: hypergamy. You hear this word thrown around in the manosphere, usually with a lot of anger attached to it. Let's strip away the anger and look at the definition. Hypergamy is the biological imperative of the female to seek out the highest status, most genetically fit, and most resource-capable male she can access. In simple terms, women date up, men date across or down. Women date up. In the ancestral environment, this was necessary for survival. A woman has a limited reproductive window and a massive biological cost for reproduction. 9 months of pregnancy, years of vulnerability while nursing, a high caloric cost to create life. She had to ensure that the man she chose could provide security, protection, and superior genetics for her offspring. Choosing a weak man meant death. Choosing a mediocre man meant her children might not survive the winter. Her instincts are designed to filter out weakness ruthlessly. Fast forward to 2024. The saber-toothed tigers are gone. The harsh winters are handled by central heating. She has her own job, her own 401k, and the state provides a safety net. But the software in her brain? It hasn't changed. It is still running the same code. She is still scanning for the best possible option. The problem today is that social media and dating apps have completely distorted her perception of reality. In the past, a woman's dating pool was the 50 men in her village. She would pair off with the best option available, and that was that. Today, she has thousands of men in her pocket. She opens Instagram or Tinder and has hundreds of thirsty guys DMing her, validating her, inflating her ego, and offering her free attention. She sees the highlight reels of millionaires, fitness models, and celebrities, and she begins to believe that this is the baseline. Her perception of average has been artificially inflated. This is why she's never satisfied with the average man. Because in her mind, average is invisible, average is failure. Even if you are a good man, a hard-working man, a loyal man, if you do not display high sexual market value, SMV, you are simply a placeholder. You are a utility. You need to understand the mechanism of monkey branching. This is a direct result of hypergamy. A woman rarely leaves a relationship with nowhere to go. She does not jump into the void. Like a monkey swinging through the trees, she will not let go of the current branch. That's you, the safe, boring provider, until she has a firm grip on the next branch. That next branch is the guy she perceives as having higher status, higher excitement, or better genetics. While you're sitting there thinking everything is fine because you paid the mortgage and took out the trash, she's subconsciously or consciously auditing you. She's constantly asking, is this the best I can get? And the moment the answer is a definitive no, and a better option presents itself, the transition begins. It starts emotionally. She starts texting a work friend. She starts complaining about you to her friends. Then it becomes physical. You are blindsided because you thought your sacrifice was buying loyalty. It wasn't. It was just paying the rent until the lease was up. Now, how does she determine if you are worth keeping? She tests you. We call these shit tests. A shit test is not malicious. It is instinctive. It is a mechanism to check your frame. She will provoke you. She will challenge you. She will be difficult. She will withhold intimacy. She will make unreasonable demands. Why? She is checking to see if you are a solid object. She needs to know if you are an immovable rock or if you are a leaf in the wind. If you crumble, if you get emotional, if you plead, if you get angry and lose control, you fail the test. You have proven that her chaos is stronger than your order. You have proven that she can move you. And if she can move you, she cannot trust you to protect her from the world. If she is the storm, you must be the mountain. But most modern men, raised on the blue pill diet, try to appease the storm. They apologize when they haven't done anything wrong. They try to negotiate. They fold. And with every fold, her respect dies a little more. Let's look at the reality of this. Let's look at some case studies. These are not hypothetical. These are patterns I see every single day in my practice with men across America. Take a look at Mike. Mike is a 34-year-old senior software engineer in Silicon Valley. He makes $250,000 a year. He is the textbook definition of a good provider. He bought the house in the suburbs. He drives the Tesla. He pays for the vacations to Cabo. He puts his wife, Sarah, on a pedestal. He treats her like a queen. He asks her permission to go out with his friends. He does the dishes to help out after working a 10-hour day because he read somewhere that chore play leads to sex. Mike thinks he's being a modern, egalitarian husband. He thinks he's safe because he is a high earner. Then Mike comes to me because Sarah filed for divorce. She told him the classic line, "I love you, but I'm not in love with you." Mike is crushed. He asks, "What did I do wrong? I gave her everything." Here is what happened. Sarah met a guy at her boutique gym. His name is Jax. Jax is a personal trainer. He makes $43,000 a year. He drives a beat-up truck. He has student loan debt. But Jax has something Mike doesn't. Jax has edge. Jax has masculine polarity. Jax doesn't ask for permission. When Sarah acts up or throws a tantrum, Jax doesn't apologize. He laughs at her, or he ignores her, or he tells her to cut it out. He is not afraid of losing her. Mike provided the safety, the resources, the comfort. But Mike was boring. Mike was predictable. Mike was safe. And safety, without the threat of loss, breeds boredom. Boredom breeds resentment. Sarah's hypergamy didn't switch off because Mike had money. It shifted. Once her provisioning needs were met by Mike, her biological drive shifted to optimizing for genetics and thrill Jax. Mike was the provider. Jax was the lover. In the harsh light of evolutionary biology, Mike was the beta paying for the alpha's lifestyle. And thanks to California divorce laws, Mike is now paying alimony that likely subsidizes Sarah's dinners with Jax. You realize what happens when you try to buy desire? You become the bank, not the boyfriend. Now look at David. David is 45. He's been married for 15 years. He has 2 kids. David is the classic roommate husband. He has completely abdicated his leadership. He avoids conflict at all costs. If his wife is in a bad mood, he hides in the garage. He hasn't had sex in 6 months because she's tired or she has a headache. He accepts this. He thinks this is just what marriage is after 40. David is a utility. He is an ATM with a pulse. He thinks that if he just waits it out, if he is just patient, things will go back to how they were in the honeymoon phase. He is delusional. His wife looks at him with visible disgust. Why? Because she sees a man who has no boundaries. She sees a man who tolerates a sexless marriage, who tolerates disrespect, who tolerates being treated like a child in his own home. One night, David tries to initiate intimacy, and she pushes him away and says, "Is that all you think about?" David shrinks. He apologizes. He sleeps on the couch. This is the death of the soul. David's lack of spine is repulsive to her. She wants a man who has the capacity for danger but chooses to be gentle. David is just harmless, and harmless men are not sexy. Then there is Jason. Jason was heading down the same path as David, but Jason woke up. Jason took the red pill. He realized that the dynamic in his house was toxic, and that he was the one enabling it. Jason stopped asking for validation. He stopped checking in with her every hour. He started hitting the gym, not for her, but for himself. He started dressing better. He reconnected with his male friends. He started a side business. He focused on his mission. When his wife threw a shit test, when she criticized his new workout routine instead of justifying himself, he held his frame. He used fogging techniques. He smiled and said, "I'm doing this for me." And he walked away. He demonstrated walk-away power. He made it clear, through his actions, not his words, that he was willing to end the relationship if his standards were not met. Guess what happened? The dynamic flipped. Suddenly, she was the one asking him where he was going. She was the one initiating intimacy. She was the one cooking dinner. Why? Because she realized that he was a prize. She realized that he had options. She realized that he was a man who respected himself. And therefore, she was forced to respect him too. Jason understood the assignment. He stopped being a supplicant and started being the king of his own life. Here is the thing you need to burn into your brain. The person who cares the least about the relationship holds all the power. That sounds cold. It sounds cynical. But it is the absolute truth of negotiation. And relationships are a negotiation. If you are terrified of losing her, you have already lost her. You must be willing to walk away. You must have a life that is so fulfilling, a mission that is so compelling, that a woman is a complement to your life, not the center of it. Stop making her the center of your universe. That is too much pressure for her. And it is pathetic for you. A woman wants to be a passenger on your ship, watching you conquer the world. She does not want to be the ship. She does not want to be the captain. She wants to look at you and see a man who is going places, with or without her. This brings us to the concept of sexual market value, SMV. You need to understand your value and you need to increase it. SMV for men is comprised of 3 pillars: looks, money, and status. Looks. You don't have to be Brad Pitt, but you cannot be fat and sloppy. Get in the gym, lift heavy weights, build muscle. Physical fitness signals discipline and testosterone. It signals that you can protect. If you are soft, you signal that you are prey. Money? Resources matter. Not because you want to be an ATM, but because resources represent competence and freedom. Financial independence gives you the ability to say no. It gives you the ability to walk away from a bad job or a bad relationship. Status. This is how you carry yourself. This is your social circle. This is your confidence. This is your game. It is your ability to navigate social hierarchies and command respect from other men. Women look at how other men treat you to determine your value. The modern dating market is ruthless. It is a global marketplace. If you're sitting on the couch, playing video games, eating junk food, and complaining that women are gold diggers, you are losing, you are failing. You are choosing to be a victim, and you must understand the legal environment you're operating in. The legal system in the United States is not your friend. The family courts are a slaughterhouse for men. No-fault divorce laws mean she can leave for any reason, or no reason at all, and take half of what you built. Alimony, child support, division of assets. The system is designed to transfer resources from the earner, usually the man, to the dependent. This is why you must be strategic. Marriage, in the modern Western context, is a legal contract where you bet half your stuff that she won't change her mind. And remember, women initiate nearly 80% of divorces in the West. The odds are not in your favor. The juice isn't worth the squeeze unless you're dealing with a woman who has high integrity, high vetting, and unless you maintain your frame throughout the entire duration of the relationship. So, what is the ultimatum? You have 2 choices. Choice A, you can go back to sleep. You can keep believing the Disney lies. You can keep putting her on a pedestal. You can keep apologizing for being a man. You can keep hoping that if you're just nice enough, she will stay. You can take the blue pill. But don't be surprised when you wake up at 50 years old, divorced, broke, living in a studio apartment, seeing your kids every other weekend, wondering where it all went wrong. Don't be surprised when she monkey branches to the guy you were told not to worry about. Choice B, you accept the reality. You accept the red pill. You accept that hypergamy is real. You accept that this is not a fairy tale. It is biology. You decide, right now, to reclaim your masculinity. You stop seeking external validation. You stop simping. You stop negotiating desire. You focus on your mission. You build your body. You build your empire. You sharpen your mind. You build a circle of high-value men. You become the man that other men want to be and women want to be with. You become the prize. When you do this, the dynamic shifts. You stop chasing butterflies and you build a beautiful garden. The butterflies will come, and if one flies away, it doesn't matter. Because you still have the garden, you still have your mission, you still have your self-respect. The world does not care about your feelings. The market does not care about your feelings. Nature does not care about your feelings. Nature rewards strength. Nature rewards adaptation. Nature rewards the capable. This is not about controlling women. You cannot control women. You can only control yourself. You can only control your value, your boundaries, and your actions. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But more importantly, learn how to master the game so you stop getting played. It's time to upgrade your operating system. It's time to become the protagonist of your own life. This is not love. This is a transaction. And until you bring high value to the table and demand respect in return, you will always be on the losing end of the deal. Get to work.